the sailing capital of America and the birthseat of the American Navy. This is the quaint drinking town with a sailing problem that George Washington himself fell in love with for its patriotic flair and American spirit.
If you're a sailing aficionado, if you like chowder, if you're looking to immerse yourself in the quaintness of a New England seaside town, look no further than historical Marblehead.
Marblehead was originally called Massapequash by the native Indians, the Namaquecs, that were part of the Algonquin Nation. In 1684, the Namaquecs signed over 37 acres of land for 16 pounds to what would become the official town of Marblehead.
In 1629, Marblehead was officially settled, thanks to Dolliver, who left Salem due to its strict Puritan laws and floated across Salem Harbor in a giant barrel, becoming, as legend has it, the first settler of this town. Dolliver was so attached to living in his barrel that he lived in it for a while. My, how things have changed from living in barrels.
This is Old Burial Hill, one of the oldest graveyards in New England, established in 1638. There are hundreds of Revolutionary War heroes buried right here. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Claudia. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to see you
I'm
as
so
well.
excited to meet an international sailing
Oh,
champion.
thanks for coming.
How's the wind today?
It's pretty good. It's a little bit light, but I think it's going to pick up. Yeah.
Is that how you kind of like sense for the direction?
One of the ways that people figure it out. This is a sonar. It's a sailboat, which is about 19 feet long. Well, I was thinking that maybe you could help me rig up the jib and we could go sailing.
Yes.
Okay. And this is the jib right here. You're just going to pull in this line.
Okay.
And the jib will come up.
Now, if it were windy right now, this wouldn't be as easy to do, I gather, right?
Right. It would actually be very noisy as well.
You gotta have like a few muscles for this.
I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
So you're sailing. If there is a little bit more wind.
Yeah.
There might be more people out right now, but.
Wind, please. I'd love to know a little bit more about some of your prouder races.
Yeah, I've gotten to do a lot of different racing. The team that I was sailing with was Silver Panda, and we were able to go over to Spain and sail at the World Championships for team racing. We were also able to go back to Australia for the Worlds to defend our title in 2009. Obviously, Marblehead Harbor is very crowded. There's a lot of boats. There are many different yacht clubs around the harbor, but some of the bigger ones, the one that we launched out of was the Corinthian Yacht Club. There's the Corinthian, there's the Boston, and then there's the Eastern Yacht Club. So there's kind of the three main racing clubs in the harbor. I actually grew up sailing in Marblehead over at Pleon Yacht Club, which is down the harbor.
So isn't Pleon the oldest junior yachting club in America?
It is, yes. It's a pretty special place because it's a place that's run by kids for kids.
I'm ready for my latte. I'm not gonna get splashed anytime soon. What if I blow on it, you know, to kind of help with the wind? The swells were incredible. I mean, the winds are like 150 miles an hour at least.
You'll have to come back when there's more breeze. Sorry, there was
we
more
got
wind.
such a workout. Thank you.
After my sailing adventure, I decided to check out the Barnacle, an all-time local favorite for fresh seafood.
So I hear this is the oldest family-owned restaurant in Marblehead.
Yes, it is. It's been in our family since '49. It started off with my grandmother's sister, and then it went to my grandmother's brother, and then it went to my grandmother, and now it's been left to my uncle. The building started originally as a souvenir chowder shack. So my uncle is a local lobster fisherman. My uncle goes out probably a couple times a week, gets the lobsters for the restaurant.
Bloody Mary, Barnacle cooler.
Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
These are all made from scratch. That was my grandmother's recipe.
Oh my God.
Keep talking.
So tell me, what are some of the things on the menu that people just are dying to get through the door and eat?
We have New England seafood chowder. We have our special mussels. And we have fish and chips.
I have to say, I think these are the best mussels I've ever had.
They're really good. That's what we got the write-up for.
It tastes really fresh.
Fresh. I think you should give the chowder a little try.
Oh God, that's good. I'm gonna leave here 20 pounds heavier, but 20 pounds happier. With a belly full of mussels, I'm heading over to meet up with Christine Baze, a cervical cancer survivor, songstress extraordinaire, and our IndieWoman model.
For the first time in years, I'm the girl that was in the coffee shop in the corner singing my songs when I was told, you can never have a baby and you might die. You know, and I was 31, and I don't want any other person to have to feel the way I felt in that moment. And now I sense a change in my tears. I had 13 years of normal Pap tests, and then I was diagnosed with invasive cervical cancer with extensive lymphatic invasion.
And you were going annually for
I was, and the reason for that is because the standard Pap test has a false negative rate of up to 50%.
Were you feeling sort of discouraged and uninspired coming from this experience and going through the whole recovery process?
Yeah, I mean, I lost myself after, you know, hysterectomy, chemo, radiation, internal radiation, and then depression. Gosh. I definitely, I was spinning upside down and never really thought I was going to be me again. You know what the scariest moment for me was having to call my mom and say, Mom, I have cancer.
Is it one of the most common cancers for women?
In the world, it is the #2 killer of women in the world. I know that here in the United States, it is 11,000 women, over 11,000 women are diagnosed, and almost 4,000 women die. If you're 21 and up, make sure you always get your Pap. And then what they came out was an HPV test. So nobody was talking about HPV when I got cancer. People were like, what? HI? What? Huh? Human papillomavirus is the cause of cervical cancer. 80% of all women will be exposed to this virus. And only a few percentage will develop to cervical cancer, but everybody will be exposed. And that's where having this HPV DNA test is so amazing, because DNA, never wrong. So by the time you're 30, you should be getting an HPV DNA test with your Pap test. The newest thing to come along, of course, is the HPV vaccine.
You have to be young.
And that is from the ages of 9 to 26. And it's a series of 3 shots, and they can protect you up to 70 to 80% of the HPV strands that can lead to cervical cancer. And if we educate and empower women everywhere of all ages about these tools, we can and will eliminate cervical cancer in our lifetime. And that is my goal. That is what I'm set out to do. That is why I share my story. You know, with my music and my message and my experience, you know, that's where the yellow umbrella comes from. And that's where that movie Harold and Maude comes in, because in one scene, everybody's got dark umbrellas and it's raining, and dark galoshes and dark raincoats, and then she's got this bright yellow umbrella in her hand. And a bounce in her step, and you see her marching, and that triggered me to go whoa, there is always a light in the storm. You always have protection. I want to name the tour after this vision of we're all under the same umbrella, under this roof. You know, we can work together to prevent cervical cancer. And then that's when I decided to name the organization. And ta-da!
Oh, I love this. Is so fabulous.
I try to make it fun.
Can I have one of those pins, Save the Hooch?
Yes, you can.
I'm all for the hooch.
In fact, here you go. Ta-da! Smiling cervix.
Where can I place this pin that would be most appropriate? Let me see. All right, well, I'll be good for the camera this time.
You know, I like it down here, because then you're sort of pointing down here. Here's my wall of duos. So this is a little bit of some of the people that have touched my life in different ways that I've been lucky enough to play music with. I've got Liz Phair up there. I got to sing with her. Sheryl Crow, I had the opportunity of opening for her.
And she's also a cancer survivor.
She is. She's a booby cancer survivor. So she calls me the hooch girl, and I call her the booby girl.
Now that I made friends with the locals, tasted the most delicious New England clam chowder, and sampled all the great things that this fabulous town of Marblehead has to offer, I've decided to make my first solo trip across the Atlantic. Just me and this bottle of champagne.
Ringing loud